What's up, guys? It's your boy, the hoodlum, Eric Acton, and you're tuning in to the 3 Count Podcast. Enjoy.
Welcome, everybody, to another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast. Now entering the ring. I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, and we shall go down the roster. Nobody else is here, so the only person that decided to show up today, he is the king of naps. That's all he likes to do. He doesn't actually watch wrestling. He only watches What Culture Wrestling. He watches Cultaholic, and he loves himself some Wrestle Talk. That is only things that make him qualified to be on this podcast. His name is JJ. Say what up.
First of all, I'd like to thank the sidewalks for keeping me off the streets. Dangerous times out here. We're having a revolutionary war going on. So, chitty, chitty, bang, murder everything. All right, that's all for me.
So, like we said, this is now entering the ring, and we always have a special guest for you. So today's special guest is no exception. You may have seen his videos talking about the demise of the Patriots dynasty. You may have seen some of your favorite boxers with spaghetti legs. This is the man, the legend, Chiseled Adonis. How's it going?
Yes, indeed. Thank you for having me. And if you guys haven't known before, get familiar. I am the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. And I'm happy to be here on the 3 Count Podcast.
I am stoked, man. So, like we said prior, we just got a few questions for you. Then we'll have the three count podcast 10 count questions. Jeez, that's a mouthful to say. So, let's get into it. First question right off the bat: how did you get into wrestling?
Man, I had to be about 4 years old. This is 1998, dating myself here. But I remember watching the tail end of, or I should say the start of the Attitude Era and just seeing it at my aunt's house because I didn't have cable at that time. I was still broke. Hell, I'm still broke now, but we ain't talking about that. But it was the tail end of, watching Raw in 1998 and really getting accustomed to seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin. This was I remember Shawn Michaels this was the end of Shawn Michaels right at the back injury. So I remember just watching DX after Triple H took the lead for that, Stone Cold, and then The Rock started to slowly ascend, and then he became my guy. So once SmackDown came to regular television in 99, I was hooked.
That's incredible. So you said that you date yourself because it was 1998. Let me tell you the first time that I saw wrestling. It was Saturday morning. I saw Macho Man Randy Savage get wrapped up in the top and middle rope, and then I watched Jake the Snake unleash a cobra on him.
Oh yeah,
that was my introduction.
Oh, that's classic. Nobody ever forgets that Jake the Snake moment, and just the fear on everybody's face in the crowd. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it when it happened because I was still swimming in the Family Jewels Natatorium. But man, if I was alive at that time, it'd have been a hell of a sight.
No, yeah, it was a treat. And I found out more about it afterwards. I didn't even know that Jake the Snake actually hit his cobra numerous times to get pissed off. That was
he spoke about it in a few podcasts where he was talking about he went above and beyond to piss off the snake and just let it loose.
That's the most wild thing I've ever seen. So, seeing that you've been starting in the Attitude Era and with all the eras that we have seen now, what's been your favorite era of wrestling?
For the match quality, I would have to say the Ruthless Aggression era because we saw a whole lot of great matches. But then sheer entertainment, I don't think anything comes close to the Attitude Era.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that. Okay, so then here's like another side question for you. So what's your advice for people trying to build up like a YouTube channel?
Oh, so building up a YouTube channel, I'd say one, be authentic. That's number one. You got to be authentically you. A lot of times, a lot of people grab inspiration from different sort of channels, different creators, but you got to put your own spin on it. Because at the end of the day, nobody is you. Nobody is really like you. There are similar people, but nobody's 100% you. So if you're going to get a YouTube channel started, just go out there, put out content that you like, double down on that, and just keep the steam and the train rolling. Because once the first piece of adversity comes, you can't quit. If nobody's watching you for a year, you have to bank on the fact that in year 2, year 3, year 4, they might come along. If you only gain like 10 subscribers, focus on that 10, maximize that 10, and make that 10 20. So instead of focusing on trying to get a million out the bat. So you just got to continue to keep swinging at the ball as it comes.
All righty, I guess it's my turn. Woo. What is the biggest regret that you've ever had in like your YouTube channel or just in life in general, man?
Biggest regret on YouTube? I'm not sure. Probably not starting the channel earlier. Because I posted my very first video when I was in college in 2013, but I never posted after that for about 4 years. And when I had posted it, it was only my thoughts on, on Ray Rice at the time. It wasn't even anything. It was just, all right, let me just talk about this. I had like about 79 views and I ended up taking the video down. I probably should have started because had I started in 2013, I think I would have been way bigger than I am now. As for biggest regret in life, probably not blitzing on 3rd and long my senior year of high school. Never forgot that day ever. One of the lowest moments of my life.
Alrighty. My next question for you would be, what is your all-time favorite feud in wrestling? Like your all-time favorite.
All-time favorite feud? Man, there are a lot. But if I had to say the first one that comes to mind, it would have to be Rock Austin. I think those guys, what they did for the 3 year, although 1999 and 2001, those are the biggest ones. That small month that they did in the build up until WrestleMania 19, that was masterful as well. So I would have to say Rock Austin, and coming in at number 2 would be Austin and Mr. McMahon. Because they put on an absolute clinic week in, week out. You wanted to see McMahon get his ass kicked. I don't think there was anybody who was on the side of the McMahons during the Austin and McMahon side. And if they were, they're probably a corporate person. So it was anything dealing with Rock Austin. That was number 1 for me.
So my next question for you would be, what is your all-time favorite YouTube video like that you've done?
All-time favorite YouTube video. I guess I would have to say I have 3. My MTA rant 3 years ago.
I've seen that.
Yeah, that was the first one that I ever had go viral, over 1 million views. Not on YouTube, but on Facebook. But it had over 1 million views with my face in it. Usually I had everything go off on commentary. So that was number 1. Number 2 was the Roast of the Fat Family, the trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
That was beautiful. I actually received death threats from their family. That was something like, don't come to Atlanta. We're going to kill you. I went to Atlanta like a year later. I didn't message the guy, but I was there. They can't say how they go. But and that was number 2. And number 3 would probably have to be last month when I maybe 2 months ago when I recorded the rehabilitation of my father and him getting back to 100%. So I'd have to say those 3 videos were my favorite.
Alrighty. And my final question for you would be, what do you want your legacy on YouTube or as a comedian in general? What do you want it to be?
Legacy wise, I want to be a guy who is very different from everybody else. In a sense, the goal is to be the greatest of all time, and it's going to take a long time to get there. But I look at it as it's a 30-chapter book. It's a 30 different chapter book. I'm probably on chapter 2 at this current time. So my legacy is just going to be a guy who is completely different from everybody else, joked on everything, and pulled no punches.
All right, back to you, Cliff.
Love it. Love it 100%. So with that being said, these are our questions that we've asked. So now we have the 10 count questions, right? So we're going to have put on the imaginary timer. Ding! There it is. It's not even that tough of a quiz. Hey, real talk. First thing that comes to mind. So here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
SmackDown.
Favorite wrestler?
Chris Benoit.
Favorite YouTuber?
That's a tough one. Tommy Sotomayor.
All right. Favorite candy?
Butterfingers.
Hey, let's go. The last show you binge watched?
Dexter.
Nice. Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Last time you laughed out loud?
10 minutes ago.
Nice. Favorite member of the Ginyu Force?
Berter.
Hey, let's go.
Hey!
Your favorite name that you wrote in your death notebook?
Nick Folk.
Hey, yo!
And last but not least, favorite curse word?
Hmm. Probably bitch.
Nice. So that's it for the 10 count questions. You passed the test. So I know we've asked we've asked our questions and stuff like that. Normally that's how we kind of clean up our formalities and stuff. But I'm interested, right? So Austin, Brock, who was your favorite guy from like the Ruthless era?
Oh man. Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Undertaker. Those were just a few that I would say were at the top. God, Lita.
Mm.
She was great. Tag teams. Wow. Well, the Dudleys kind of left at what was it, 2004? So I can't. They were my favorite tag team of all time, but I can't really use them. Man, Batista.
Oh, I love Batista.
Yeah, Batista, Benoit, Guerrero, Mysterio, Edge. How can I not say Edge? Umaga before his passing, may he rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Man. Wow, Ric Flair, although he's in his 50s, but Ric Flair. Boy, I know I'm missing one person that's from Booker T. Did I say Booker T?
No, you did now though.
Yeah, Booker T. Shelton Benjamin. Goldberg was 1 year. Brock. God, there was so many. There was so many. The list goes on and on. I love the Ruthless Aggression era. That honestly, since the New Generation era up until now, Ruthless Aggression brought back actual wrestling in the ring.
Yeah.
It brought it back, and then now we get to see, clinics of great matches day in and day out now on television about 3 times per week.
Yeah, I have to say, like, as far as like the era of like Ruthless Aggression goes, like Cena would definitely be on my list just because like he was just like the biggest star of like the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Edge was one of my favorite wrestlers, and then my all-time favorite wrestler, no questions asked. If anybody has anything to say about it, I just knock him in the face. Rey Mysterio Jr. because I've watched him since 1995 when he showed up at WCW in Panama City, Florida, wearing nothing but pink. And I was like, this man is legit. And he beat Dean Malenko, and I was like, this is the dude I will watch forever.
Oh yeah, beat the Iceman. The Mysterio. It's funny because I seen Mysterio in the indie promotions before I saw him. I've probably seen Mysterio wrestle live since 2014. I've seen him a numerous amount of times, but that guy, I don't know how he continues to do what he's doing even now. It's crazy. It doesn't make sense because it's going on 25 years, and I think he had years when he was wrestling before he came to WCW too. So
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense how he's still able to keep up with these guys now. It's crazy.
What was it? AAA, 14
Yeah.
years old. And
Yeah.
then he went to ECW for a year, and then he went to WCW. Yeah. I may have followed a career or not. I don't know. I might know some things. But but you said your favorite tag team is the Dudley Boys. Like, have you ever met those guys? Like,
Oh yeah. I met them in person 3 times. I actually saw their last match that they ever worked together at a indie promotion here in New York at HOG. It was a fatal 4-way between themselves, the Hardys, a Private Party, and at the time they were called EYFBO, but now they're members of the Inner Circle in Santana and Ortiz.
oh wow.
So yeah, it was a fatal 4-way, and I saw Devon and Bubba have their last match together.
That's the best. I can't believe my tag team of choice for all times. I don't think I've ever told this on air, so this will be the first time. Legion of Doom. Like, I was a Road Warrior guy. That's why it's my favorite pose at hitting DDP yoga. I'm not gonna lie, I do that.
Oh, I do it too. I'm actually looking at. I could see my CDs from here for the DDP Yoga. What did you think of when they rebranded the Legion of Doom?
As far as like LOD 2000, or are you talking
Yeah.
about like the Heidenreich thing? Because
Kind
like,
of both. Kind of both. I didn't like the when they with the LOD 2000. I wasn't a big fan of. I think that's when they put Sonny with them. Was it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of that.
So if you would have taken Sunny out and left LOD 2000 the way they were, with the helmets and the shoulder pads, were so lit. But I'm a classic dude. I love when they're like their New Japan stuff,
Hmm.
and then when they officially made it into WWE, I was so excited to see them. And then like just like I don't know, it was crazy to see them. And then they tried to do the whole like Darren Draws thing, which by the way, he's a
Hmm.
Broncos. He was a former Bronco. Shouts to my favorite team. I know you're a Steelers fan, but it is what it is. We all can't be great. But yeah. So seeing Darren Draws and that whole interaction was crazy. But then like knowing the behind the scenes from like Dark Side of the Ring
Ah, yes, yes.
was even
Right.
more intense because I was like I remember watching it as a kid and seeing Hawk fall from the back, and I
Hmm.
was like, did he get pushed or was he like, did he just fall? And like I couldn't recall. And then to see them that the storyline was that he got pushed by Darren Draws was like I was like, oh dang, this is insane. But I don't know. To me, I think I liked LOD just in general. I'll always be like the old school fan. But seeing LOD 2000 as a kid, I remember like I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then seeing Heidenreich with them, I was kind of like, yeah, you know what? This is not as cool. It's not as cool without Hawk.
Yeah, I agree. When they brought, because Heidenreich, I think that was right after he was doing all of the poems and things of that nature. So it was very weird. I don't know. I never really got into it at that point. But the original LOD, and I watched the Dark Side of the Ring episode as well. So it was tough to watch because almost every episode that they put out, when they cover and it goes to the twist of the downfall, it always hits a nerve because when you're younger, you have no clue this is what's going on. So it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of like even just that show itself, right? So just I'm not gonna lie. I how many? Okay, let me ask the question. How many times did you tear up watching the Crispin Wall story?
Oh, probably about six.
Yeah.
Had to be about six. When they mentioned, when they got to the point where Eddie died, and then they talked on how he started wailing and crying, man, I couldn't. I was just sitting there like, let me. I was watching it. I wasn't watching on TV. I was watching on my computer. I'm like, let me hit pause, just gather myself because I remember how I felt. I was 10 years old when Eddie died, and I didn't know how to act. And those two were two of my top five favorite wrestlers at the time. So if he was reacting like that, or I should say, if I was reacting like that, how did I expect him to not take it that hard? And that just started the true downfall of Benoit, man. It was brutal.
You know, it's funny because like I remember. So I remember everything like they were talking about. Like I remembered everything like it was yesterday because I was what was that 2006? I was in the military. I had just got out of boot camp and I was like in what was called tech school. And I remember watching and then like randomly I saw Vince and Chavo come up and like CNN was like live broadcasting it. And then they're like, "Well, what happened?" And he's like, "Eddie died." I was like, I just stopped and dropped my food and I was like, What did you just say?" And then like I remember going back and hearing the story and then watching it all back again. I was like, all the emotions flooded back, and I was just like, I can't do this because I remember Rey Mysterio that Monday night crying live on air,
Hmm.
but then having the match with Shawn Michaels in their
Yeah.
dedication to him, and I was like, yo, this is like so intense.
Hmm.
I'll
It
never
was
forget the Benoit when he died, and I was like, that's 2007. So I was like, I remember it was me and my brother. We was at our grandmother's house because that's how we really got into wrestling. And I remember the episode before the limousine exploded. Vince limousine
Hmm. Yep.
exploded, and everybody thought he died. And then like the next week later, Vince shows up, and that's when like me and my brother kind of realized that wrestling was kind of fake. Because like at that point, like we were still like teetering, like is it really real or is it really fake? And then Benoit died. It was like what? And then when more news came out and it's like that he killed his family and all that, I was just like it didn't feel real.
Hmm.
And then like the business almost like collapsed because of this, like roid rage and all that is. And I was only like or so when Benoit died. And I vividly remember that. And it still hurts.
Yeah, I
Still
can.
hurts.
Okay, so outside of WWE, who are some of the other wrestlers that you watch?
I would have to say outside of WWE, definitely the Young Bucks. I'm a fan of theirs. I've seen their work when they're in New Japan and then even in Ring of Honor, things of that nature. I watched a little of the big fights that were in New Japan when Jericho went over there. I watched Omega and Okada, that 6-star match that they gave them, something like that. Yeah, I watched that. What was it, Dominion? Something like that they called it.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watch that. I watch a little bit of AEW here and there because now I'm having to get introduced to all of these different wrestlers I didn't know. But now that FTR is there, they're my current favorite tag team. So now that they're there, I'm trying to get much more, into it. So I've watched a little AEW here and there.
Yeah, I got lucky because a bunch of guys that I known all told me about, hey, if you like WWE, I want you to go check out New Japan, and then they all introduced you to New Japan. And that's when I saw everybody transition over to AEW. But it was only because of AEW, like I even know remotely like half the guys that are there. Like I didn't Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Orange
Mhm.
Cassidy, who coincidentally is now one of my favorite. And then seeing Neville or Pac, as people want to call him now, as Pac is over there now, it's like seeing him back on an American scene. I was like, dude, this is great.
Yeah, they have a lot of good talent over there. I saw a good percentage of their guys on the indie circuit. So, but it was isolated matches. I never really followed them. The only people that I really followed were those who were in the New York promotion. So I saw Private Party. I think I saw their debut match when they started in 2015. So they came a hell of a long way. Santana Ortiz when they were in was it TNA when they were in LAX, or was that
Yeah,
whatever
Impact.
they call, yeah, Impact, whatever they call that promotion. But
Well,
yeah, I
before
saw.
wrestling.
Yeah, I saw all of a good percentage of those guys, but now they're in a great spot. And big kudos to Cody, Cody, the Young Bucks, Omega, all those guys for making the other promotion because it's long overdue. The WWE became this gigantic monopoly. They ran the entire wrestling business, and they truly didn't need competition. So if AEW can get their stuff together, we're gonna be into a golden age of wrestling once again.
Yeah, I truly agree with that, man. Especially, I love the fact that the Young Bucks have tied themselves so hard to tag team wrestling because that's one thing that's missing in WWE is that there's not like any like real great tag teams. Like you can name a couple of like the tag teams that are there, but you can't really put your finger on like any one of your like that's gonna be the next great tag team. But at least, FTR, the Young Bucks. I mean, you do have Jurassic Express. There's Private Party, which I remember watching their final match at House of Glory, which was really good, and then seeing them come back into AEW. So yeah, I agree, man. Like if they can keep the Rocket strapped onto their tag team division and just keep pushing, they're gonna do like great things. They suffer the same thing just like WWE suffers is like their women's division where it's kind of focused around one star, but then like you lose that star and then you don't have nothing to build off of. So hopefully, like just like you said, like they can continue just like building and building and make things stronger. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Do you have any other favorite wrestlers out like at ROH and stuff? Because I know you had mentioned that you've seen a couple of their shows.
Out of ROH, I have no clue who is currently in ROH. I have no. Is the villain there? Is he there?
Yeah, so Marty Scurll actually is there. He's
Okay, great.
actually he's their co-lead booker. Is that right, Josh? I
Wow.
think I think that's right. I think
I
he's like
think I think so. Yeah.
Like the
Oh, he's
rumor has it that
behind.
he's getting paid like WWE money for like 40 shows and like he does all the booking in the back.
All
That's the
right,
rumor.
that's good because he's my guy. I like him, but I had no clue what he was doing because I haven't watched a Ring of Honor in probably about a year, so I had no clue where he was at. I was shocked that he wasn't in the AEW scene. So I'm like, what the hell happened to Marty Squirrels? But and here we are.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because like in December there was like a big angle where like the Dark Order had like taken over the ring and the Elite were trying to come in and beat up Dark Order, but they're getting squashed. And the whole reason for it was because Marty Scurll, this was like the rumor that Marty Scurll was supposed to make his debut on AEW, but instead he signed a contract with ROH because they were paying him dumb money to do anything that he wanted that could help get ROH back on top, is what they were instructed. So he showed up on NWA Power with all the R's. He showed up there. He showed up on Being the Elite. I think still got his deal with New Japan, so he can still make appearances there. So he's gonna be like the one guy where you see him probably at every single show and just making appearances.
Oh man, wow. Well, he's going to be getting his money. I just hope he's able to turn ROH around, because if it doesn't, I guess in his case, he's got his money coming in, so he'll be fine. The promotion could possibly end up failing. So hopefully they can turn this around, because the more wrestling that we have out there that are, slowly growing to get to the top, and the more competition, people will be forced to put on a very good product.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing about ROH, because they're actually, so we didn't even talk about this. We're out of Baltimore, and that's where ROH is. It's right out of Baltimore, so we get to see all the shows over here for over at UMBC when we go check them out whenever they put them on. But obviously because of coronavirus, it's not a thing. So, but because of their deals right now they have with like Access TV and stuff, they're able to still put on shows that they've all taped, and I think they're getting ready to get back to doing live events here soon. So I don't know, we're excited. And yeah, you're right. As long as they can stay competitive and put on great matches, and we get to see them, I think fans would get back to get under ROH and help driving that product up. So it's great, man. So other than that, man, can you give out your socials or your social media handles, and as well plug your YouTube channel, everything you want to do?
Oh yeah, it's Chiseled Adonis on everything. Facebook, Chiseled Adonis Reloaded, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Where else am I? I'm on TikTok now. I'm gonna try that for a month. Pornhub. You can find me everywhere at Chiseled Adonis.
So, with that being said, you heard the man himself. You can find him wherever you want. Guys, don't forget, hop on ProWrestlingTees.com/The 3 Count Podcast. You can also find us on IG and Twitter at The 3 Count Podcast, or The 3 Count _pod for the Red Dog Clifford Miller. That is JJ. This is Chiseled Adonis, and we will see you again. So either be there or be somewhere else. Congratulations, you made it to the end. Now like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Go to IG at The 3 Count Pod. Go to Twitter at The 3 Count _pod. Go to Facebook, YouTube at The 3 Count Podcast. And then go buy some merch from us. Show us some support at ProWrestlingTees.com. And you go in the search box, you'll find it right there at The 3 Count Podcast. Then, tell us that you like us. And for you guys who don't know, I am Clifford Red Dog Miller. And catchphrase.